it was growing beautifully. It was summer. Everything was great, just like now. Well, Mom was busy in the house cleaning up. It's a tiny house, but it didn't take long. She said to her daughter, she said, hey, you know what? There's nothing in the house right now for me to cook. Why don't you go to the garden, pick whatever you like, and that's what we're going to have for dinner. Well, the little daughter went out. She skipped out to the garden. She did this all the time, right? This is her favorite thing. She skips out, and she just gets right to the garden, and she's about to go over there when she stopped. Because there's someone there. Who was there? Ha! It was a goat. It was not any old goat. It was a mean goat. And this goat was eating everything in the garden, not just the corn, but the tomatoes and all the other good stuff too. And the goat was eating, just eating. I mean, he just didn't even look up, didn't notice that that little girl was there, ate and ate and ate. And finally, that little girl, she said to that goat, she said, hey, goat, get out of our garden. And she thought if she spoke sharply to the goat, he would go away. But this goat, oh, no, no, no. This goat looked at that little girl and said in the meanest voice possible, he said, I'm the goat from the hills and the mountains, and I'm going to eat this garden. And when I'm done, I like to have little girls for dessert. Ooh, it was such a mean look. Well, the little girl ran all the way home. She ran all the way home. She said, Mom, 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 there's a goat in the garden. There's a goat in the garden. There's a goat in the garden. And the goat is mean. And the goat said he's going to eat it all. Well, Mother was not too pleased by this. Mother didn't have time fooling around with bad goats. So Mom said, what? A goat in my garden? Huh. She stomped down out there. She even took a broom. I'll show him. And she looked at that goat and she said, goat, go home. Go on. The goat didn't care what Mother thought. The goat looked at her, looked at the food, and said, I'm the goat from the hills and the mountains. I'm going to eat this garden. And when I'm done, I like to have little girls and their mothers for dessert. And then he kept on eating. Mom went back. She didn't know what to do, and she was just thinking about what they could possibly do about this goat when all of a sudden, Dad came home from whatever he was doing off in the world. He came home. He said, wow, what a day I've had. Whew, man, I'm hungry. What's for dinner? I don't smell anything. Come on. I'm hoping that it's something really good because, man, I'm starving. Well, Mom said one thing to him. She said, well, dear, we're having nothing. Nothing's for dinner. There's a goat in the garden, and you get to handle it. Well, Dad thought that was very silly, but he said, of course. He went on out. He saw the goat. He talked to the goat. He said, goat, this is not your garden. It is our garden, and we are hungry. Go away. Go on. Off. Do you think the goat listened to Dad? No. In fact, the goat said, he barely stopped chewing, but he looked at Dad with his mean goat face. And he said, I'm the goat from the hills and the mountains. I'm going to eat this garden, and when I'm done, I like to have little girls and their moms and their dads for dessert. And then he gave him the look. Show me your mean look. Well, as I said, Dad had a tough day. He went on back home, and he said, I don't know, we have anything else in the refrigerator? Not too helpful. Well, as Dad and Mom and the little girl are figuring out what to do, their other kid came home from school. Came home. This is a teenager. And this kid came home and said, hey, Mom, I'm really hungry. Come on, give me something to eat. Because that's kind of how it went. And his mom said, we don't have any food. We've got a goat in the garden. Get out there and take care of it. Well, the young man went out there. He's like, hey, to the goat. He said, come on, get out of here. I got things to do. Come on, get out. You need to get out of here because you do. The goat looked at that young man, the same look he'd been giving everybody else. And he said, I'm the goat from the hills and the mountains, and I'm going to eat all of this garden. And when I'm done, I like to have little girls and their moms and their dads and their brothers for dessert. Then he gave him the look. Show me your mean goat look. And he kept chomping away. At least half of the garden was gone by this point. Well, mom and dad and the brother and the sister are thinking about what to do. But you know, there was a neighbor next door over that fence, and this lady apparently had nothing else to do but to watch what was going on next door. She thought this was delightful. She looked across. She came to the door. She said, knock, knock, knock. Hi. Oh, I'm so sorry. I see you do have a goat problem. Gosh, what are you going to do? Mom looked at her and just pointed. So the little old lady next door, the nosy lady, she went over to that goat. She gave him her best look, and she said, goat, goat, you've had your fun. Time for you to go. Go on, go on, go on. The goat didn't care what she thought. The goat looked at her even meaner than the others. And he said, I'm the goat from the hills and the mountains. I am going to eat all of this garden. And then I like to have little girls and their moms and their dads and their brothers and the nosy neighbors for dessert. And I think he meant it. So the neighbor lady, she put her glasses back on and she scurried on back to mom and she said, good luck with that. And she was gone. Well, the whole family was deciding what to do. Mom says, oh, I don't know. Maybe there's time for pizza. I don't know. When right in the door, they didn't even notice, crawled a little tiny ant. And the little ant spoke in a little ant voice. And the ant said, hi, I hear you can't get rid of your goat. Mom said, oh, yes. The goat said, or the ant said, I know what to do. I can do it for you. Well, Mom was very happy to hear that, but then Dad spoke up. Dad spoke up and said to the ant, Dad said, you're an ant. What could you possibly do to get rid of the goat? The ant was annoyed. The ant said, well, I was going to do it for free, but since you're not very polite, now I'm going to have to charge you, said the little ant. Dad got shoved aside by Mom, and Mom said, oh, no, please help with the ant. Anything you want. What do you want? The ant said, I'd like some wheat. Mom said, oh, okay, I can